Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video is not only relevant to the younger generation, but also will add some value to the older ones. आज मैंने ये वीडियोस 3 से 4 क्वेश्चन के बेसिस पे बनाया है और उसी को हम आंसर करेंगे, ठीक है? तो फर्स्ट इज कि बैंक कैसे अपना इंटरेस्ट रेट डिसाइड करते हैं एंड हाउ द कॉस्ट ऑफ लोन्स आर गोइंग टू इंक्रीज इन द कमिंग मंथ्स. How fixed deposits are giving us negative returns. कैसे बैंक वाले हमको बुद्धू बना रहे हैं, ठीक है, और हम we are eventually ending up making losses. And if this is the situation, then during this inflation or inflationary pressure, how can we keep our money going? कौन से ऐसे इन्वेस्टमेंट किया जा सकता है या क्या ऐसा कोई ऑप्शन है जिससे हम ये इन्फ्लेशन के रहते हुए भी we can grow our funds? So let's talk about this. Before moving forward, if you feel that I am adding some sense, like and subscribe so that I can keep making such intriguing videos for you guys. Okay? So coming back to today's topic, before 2016, banks used to lend money or give loans on the basis of risk. Okay? But after 2016, RBI has introduced a new method. वो क्या था? वो था MCLR. It introduced a new method of calculating how should the interest rate be on the loans. ठीक है? तो MCLR क्या था? MCLR was marginal cost of lending. So let's understand what was base rate and why all of a sudden RBI changed into MCLR, that is marginal cost of lending. See, base rate is a minimum interest rate below which a bank cannot lend. So let's understand how base rate is calculated. There are 4 points I want you guys to understand while calculating this. Firstly is the average cost of funds. What do I mean by this? This is the interest that the bank pays to us when we deposit some money. This is the cost to the bank. Okay? As we all know, bank works in a cyclical manner. We deposit money in the form of FD or in the form of deposits or other deposits, and with that, bank provide loans to us. And the difference between the interest rates on deposits and loans is the earning of a bank. Correct? इसीलिए हमेशा देखना कि इंटरेस्ट ऑन एफडी इज लेस देन द इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन्स. सेकंड इज द ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट. भाई डेली टू डेली बिजनेस कराने के लिए बैंक्स को खर्चा होता है, स्टेशनरी कॉस्ट होता है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कॉस्ट होता है, लीगल कॉस्ट होता है. तो ये सब कॉस्ट को भी फैक्टर इन करते हैं जब हम बेस रेट को कैलकुलेट करते हैं, ठीक है. थर्ड इज द सीआरआर, दैट इज कैश रिजर्व रेशियो. ये भी एक आरबीआई का टूल है और इसमें क्या करना होता है कि जो भी हम डिपॉजिट्स रख रहे हैं बैंक के पास, उसका एक परसेंटेज बैंक्स को आरबीआई के साथ रखना पड़ता है, ठीक है. तो ये भी एक कॉस्ट है जिसको वो कंसीडर करते हैं. बैंक्स टेक्स इनटू कंसीडरेशन व्हाइल कैलकुलेटिंग द बेस रेट. Guys, if you want me to make a video on basics like CRR, SLR and other concepts, then please write it down in the comment box. Then eventually I'll make a separate video on this. ठीक है. And the fourth point is the margin profit. Margin profit is the total return or profit that banks earn. It's a total return or profit that banks earn. Now let's talk about. देखिए बेस रेट तो हो गया. ये 4 कंपोनेंट है. ये 4 कंपोनेंट को कैलकुलेट करके बेस रेट बनाया जाता है. अब ऑल ऑफ अ सडन MCLR क्यों अडॉप्ट किया गया, ठीक है? तो पहले तो हम देखेंगे व्हाट इज MCLR. So this also refers to the minimum interest rate a bank must charge for lending. But why? Why this MCLR replaced base rate? See, base rate was calculated on the average cost of funds, but MCLR is calculated by the current cost of funds. ठीक है? तो base rate average cost of funds, MCLR current cost of funds. So what we mean by average? What we mean by current cost? See, our economy is an open economy. So there are a lot of funds that come into and go out of the system on a day-to-day basis in the form of FDI or FPI, remittances, etc. So due to this, with policy rates, or we can say the cost of money changes every day, right? So the MCLR ensures that the lending rates or the interest rates on loans reflect the policy rates. Am I clear? Base rate क्या करता था? Average cost of fund को क्या कंसीडर करता था? MCLR क्या करता है? वो करंट जो पॉलिसी रेट्स है उसको फ्रेमिंग करता है, उसको कंसीडर करके उसके बाद वो अपना रेट डिसाइड करता है. बाकी के जो 3 फैक्टर्स था, CRR हो गया, ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट हो गया, मार्जिन प्रॉफिट हो गया, वो सेम टू सेम बेस रेट में भी कैलकुलेट किया जाता था, इसमें भी MCLR में भी कैलकुलेट किया जाता था, ठीक है। सो रिमेनिंग फैक्टर्स रिमेन्स द सेम एज बेस रेट। Now let us understand how banks are giving us negative returns. ये सबसे important part था. I guess most of the viewers आप लोग जो हो वो इसी part के लिए देख रहे हो कि negative return कैसे बन रहा है और how cost of loans, for an example, आपका जो EMI हो रहा है या आपका जो housing loan होता है वो in coming days how those loans can be more costlier, how you can end up paying more for those loans, ठीक है। So now understand that during the pandemic RBI has undergone easy monetary policy. What do I mean by easy monetary policy? It is nothing but pumping more money into the economy. How it was done? One of the major tools was to reduce the interest rates, and that was done by RBI by reducing the repo rate. You have read a lot of news on this, that RBI is reducing its policy rates. RBI is reducing its base rate by at basis points, by this much basis points, by that much basis points. So this was nothing but it was an easy monetary policy. Okay. So again here, when there is a reduction in interest rates, people will take more loans and eventually more money will come into the economy. This was done to boost the demand. More money in people's hands leads to more demand for products and eventually economy will keep on growing. This was the notion behind the easy monetary policy. Now RBI is entering into tight monetary policy. It is simply the opposite of easy monetary policy. RBI is trying to pull back the extra money from the economy. So you might think, why all of a sudden RBI is taking such a move? इसका simple answer है inflation. To check inflation, RBI has to go with a tightening of money supply. This will of course push the interest rate higher, and eventually will end up paying more for our loans because borrowing money will become costly. Recently, the similar initiative has also been taken by the US government. Now, are we sitting on negative returns? And if we are sitting on negative returns, then how I am saying this? So let's understand this. This part is a little complex, but at the same time, it will be fun after you understand. So suppose for an example, you have deposited 100 rupees at an interest rate of 6% in a bank in the form of fixed deposit for 1 year. Okay? Now after 1 year, your return must be 106. Obvious baat. Now we are all happy seeing our money grow. But if I say that inflation in the economy is 7%, so the value of your 100 is already 93. So understand that you are gaining rupees 6 through your FD, but already you have lost rupees 7 in the same year. So basically you are at a loss of rupees 1 after the year. To sum up, your 100 rupees will end up being 99 because you have lost 1 rupee. Now comes the critical question. How can you protect the investments? Why you can keep your funds so that it can grow in spite of the rising inflation? See, there is no doubt that fixed deposits are one of the safest investment one can do. High inflation is not a constant factor that will remain in the economy. As I discussed above, RBI is tightening money supply to bring inflation under control. And obviously due to this, we can see some upside trends in the return of FDs. See, this is a good investment for older ones who have already enrolled under any kind of pension scheme and they don't need any compounding effect on their investments. But if you are young and have a little bit of risk capital, you can explore other options, right? Like mutual funds, stocks and equities. Start studying, or I can say investing some time on researching some good equities and businesses. See, I'm not expert for this, but there are a lot of good books out there, few YouTube videos, good blogs that you can refer to. My piece of advice as a student of economics will be you to have a good understanding of a business model. If it's a good business, you can relate its model with the present development, and if there is a vision that matches the future aspirations, then I think there's no need to worry. For example, I'm just talking about a particular sector, and that is a renewable energy. I am not promoting or neither I am giving you an advice of investments, so please don't take it that way. I'm just giving you an example. So we very well know that all over the globe, every nation is trying to curb the burning of fossil fuels, and international organizations are talking about climate change. So if a country with a good business now So if a company with a good business now is investing some part of its capital. So if a company with a good business now is investing some part of its capital for clean energy, then of course it's a decent business to invest on. So keep that in mind. As an Adam Smith says, there's no free lunch. You can relate the same with the investment perspective also, but there is no easy money. Patience and perseverance will definitely fetch you a good result in the long run. See you guys in the next video, and don't forget to comment below. Your views matters.